Welcome to Palace of Pistons After Dark. We're going to be calling it POP After Dark, a new podcast from the Palace of Pistons crew. My name is Tim Forkin, and I will be your host. Here's what I have written down as the description of this podcast. Unhinged takes and jokes about the Pistons and NBA at large, including fake trades, rants, conspiracy theories, and more with a rotating cast of characters from the POP team. Before we start, I have two things to ask of you and two things to promise you. First, the asks. Number one, listen to this podcast on 1.2 or 1.25 speed. I promise it will make you enjoy the experience so much more. And number two, could you share this feed and this podcast and this episode, and every time you see my face or this podcast on your Twitter, share it with everyone you know. Now, the promises. Number one, this is going to be a hell of a fun time. You can tell in this episode and with the people we have and the ideas we have that this is going to be a blast, and I hope you stick around. And number two, we will never be bought out by Woodward Sports. We will not become Woodward Sports, as cringy as they are. And if we ever do end up sounding like Woodward Sports, this podcast and my face will cease to exist from the internet.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another exciting night of NBA basketball.
You gotta have fucking heart, so that's what it's about.
So we got peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly for real.
Détroit, le Paris du Centre-Ouest.
Come on, bruh.
That is utter nonsense.
Come on, bruh.
So far, so good.
All right, Pistons Hangout Draft. The players that we want to hang out with. We're creating the best hangout sesh possible. I'm here with two returners and a new person. We got Zar and Jasper, and now Dylan is joining us. And we are going 4 rounds. All players on the Pistons roster are available to be selected. 3 bonus additions to the draft pool: Troy Weaver, Dwayne Casey, and Tom Goris. We've randomized the order. It's already selected. Jasper's going first, then Zar, then me, and then Dylan, and it snakes back around. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
All right, Jasper has the first pick.
That's right, folks. It's age before beauty. I'm a young guy, but Dylan makes me feel like the crypt keeper when I'm looking at him.
Zar's younger than me.
It's sick. But Zar can grow facial hair, better facial hair than me. But let's not bring that up. Man, I have to say, now this might come as a little bit of a surprise, considering that I went to Syracuse, and there's another player on the Pistons roster that also went to Syracuse. But for my first pick, the first pick of this draft, I have to go with the newest addition to the Pistons. That's got to be Jaden Ivey. Now, I know Jaden can't drink. That's okay. I know Jaden is, he's a kid. He's still young. And this is perfect because he's young enough to where he's going to think I'm cool because I can buy him drinks. Seems like a really nice kid. Good head on his shoulders. I'm sure he had a great time at Purdue hanging out with all those nerds. I got to go Jaden Ivey with the first overall pick. Young, athletic, will think I'm cooler than I am. That's an obvious first overall pick for me.
I like it. Zar, you're up.
Hit my music.
I'm not afraid to take a stand. That's the song you're requesting, right, Zar?
With the second overall pick, I'm going to go ahead and select Cade Cunningham.
What a steal.
Yeah, and I really didn't think I was gonna have the ability to select Cade number 2 overall. And I understand he does have his weaknesses. Number 1 being vegan, does pose a lot of issues for me as I am a big meat guy myself.
That's all I've heard.
So Cade Cunningham overall, cool guy. Like he gives the vibe that he'd be like the cool kid at school. You get popular just by hanging out with him. I've met him one time, and by met him I mean I was taking pictures at a Cruise game, and he said, "Hey, what up, dog?" And I dapped him up. So based on that interaction alone, we are best friends. So I'm just gonna have to select my guy Cade. I understand that Jaden Ivey does seem like a cool guy, but I feel like this is a steal here at number 2.
He's a dad though. Like he doesn't have time to hang with you. He's got a daughter.
He's so mature.
Yeah, you know, we could watch some fucking, I don't know, hoops or some shit. I don't know.
Make PB and Jace together.
I could just I feel like he's got a good vibe, you know. Either that or I'll just come hang out with Ashton instead. I'm sure he's right there.
Who may or may not exist. All right, I've got the 3rd pick in the draft, and with the 3rd pick, can't believe this guy is on the board. Off of sheer mystery, I select Troy Weaver with the 3rd pick in the draft. There's a lot of question marks about him as a person. We don't know anything about him. We know he's good for a quote, but you could tell me any story about how his life has gone, like interpersonally, and I would believe you. He could be the coolest guy in the room. He could be quiet. He could be a nerd, a freak. We don't know much about him. I want to hang out with him because I want to know what he's actually like. If he isn't the stuttering and rambling personality in the press, is he like that in real life? I need to find out. So he is my first pick.
That's interesting. You know what? He is friends with Jim Boeheim, so you know you're going to be protected. He's running with them OG killers. You know what I mean? Like he's you know what I mean? Like you always got protection. Somebody got beef with you and Troy, you know, you got those drive-bys coming on the way. Better watch yourself when you're on the highway. So I see that.
My favorite part about Troy,
guy though.
Yeah, he is quiet. My favorite part about Troy is that, like, if you see him at a Cruise game or even see him at a Pistons game, it's like he knows everybody. Like, he just, like, he dresses and kind of acts like one of those, like, OG Detroiters who's just, like, around, even though he's only been here for, 4 years now. So, yeah, I got to figure it out. Use my first pick. Kind of risky. I need to see what he's like. Dylan, you're up.
All right. So I know I have to set the tone. I do have 2 picks, so I've been thinking about who I'm going to come around the horn with. I'm going to start with my guy, Beef Stew. I think that he is one of the more charismatic players on the team. I feel like off the court, he's a pretty fun-loving guy. Seems like he could be the goofball of the team. And then, you know, if things ever get out of hand, I mean, we saw what he did to LeBron last year in the Lakers, you know, running through everyone. I don't think I'll have to worry about anyone causing any problems if we go out. So I think I'm going to take Isaiah Stewart with my first pick. And coming around, could be a little more controversial, but I've been thinking about this since last night, and I can't see how Tom Gores is not.
Oh,
like, come on. I think of Tom Gores, and I imagine him putting his drunk arm around Andre Drummond. Like, that scene, like, I just imagine him. He could be doing that with Stewart and me. Like, that's a good duo to start out with, I think. There's no way. He's a billionaire that gets drunk at every game he goes to. There's no way he's not fun.
I think you're safe as long as you don't bring him around your significant other. Especially if you're related to him. I mean, I'm just saying. But, okay, here's how I look at this. Tom Gores is a literal bro code offender. I mean, he slept with his own brother's wife. So, to me, I feel like this is a risky pick. Yeah, maybe you can hang with him one-on-one, but you can't bring him around your girl, ever. And also, there's a good chance that if, you know, the cops roll up on you, he's going to have something on it, and he's a billionaire who owns some prisons. So, like, he's not the one who's taking the fall. It's going to be babyface Dylan over here. I don't think you can make it.
Or Beef Stew.
That's a good point. Beef Stew fighting off the cops so Dylan doesn't go to jail for Tom Gore's little...
Tom makes money either way.
Another surprise pick. I'm willingly tanking my selections to make the board look good. I think it's always nice to have a guy who can rap around, and that's why I'm picking Marvin Bagley. I've been on many team bus rides, many group settings, and I will tell you it's always nice to have someone who can put a beat on and start freestyling. And now I'm just envisioning Marvin Bagley rapping for Troy Weaver and I as we nod our heads slowly. he did a song for JCPenney. He really cares about like cost affordable things, and I appreciate a frugal NBA player. I mean, Jasper's got some music. I want to hear him rap over Jasper's beats. This exercise gives me the opportunity to envision that, and maybe one day it'll be reality. So
hit me up, Marvin.
MB35. Okay, with my second overall selection, I'm gonna go ahead and take an unconventional pick. This is something I thought of for a long time, and based off of what I've heard from the team, he's a different guy than what we hear. I'm gonna go ahead and select Rodney McGruder. And and you may be wondering, Rodney McGruder, like the listener at home, Rodney McGruder, why would you take Rodney McGruder this high? And I'm going to tell you exactly why. I heard that Rodney McGruder, during the Isaiah Stewart incident, I think we all remember that one period of time where like Isaiah was like losing his shit, and you know there was a point where he was supposed to go to the locker room and he started shoving people. So Rodney McGruder was actually there when that happened, and by the time Isaiah Stewart got to the locker room, Rodney McGruder just put his hand out like this. Like, you know, like how you ever see like the Rock gif of like, it's like usually like making fun of like bad defense. It's just like this. He was like a good like 10 feet away from Isaiah Stewart. He just did this, and Isaiah Stewart stopped in his tracks. A bloody mess just stopped in his tracks, and Rodney had a talk with him, and he said, "Hey, young blood, listen to me." And Isaiah Stewart just like the incredible, like a Jamaican Hulk, just he calmed down. This is an exclusive, by the way. He actually talked to LeBron after the incident, and he apologized on behalf of Isaiah Stewart. But he also said, and this is just rumor. He said, "Ever come around here with that shit again, and I'll slap you harder than he could."
No, you know what, Zara? I'm gonna build on that. Actually, you know what? I heard he said, LeBron, you ever bring that weak shit around here, I'm gonna slap the rest of that hairline off your head.
And actually, like I think we all remember the Klay Thompson incident where Klay, we all thought Klay was
just thinking about that.
Yeah, Klay was getting the best of Rodney, and you're thinking this is a guy you'd want to hang out with. Like Klay Thompson was clowning on him. Well, I think we all remember it kind of took a long time for Klay Thompson to come back from injury. I have good knowledge that after the Warriors game, Rodney McGruder checked Twitter. He has an anonymous account that he follows me on. He checked Twitter. Allegedly, he had met with Klay Thompson in the Warriors locker room with like a big staff. And he
crowbar of sorts.
Yeah, he looked Klay Thompson in the eyes. He kissed him on the forehead, and then he just started like going like this on Klay Thompson's knee. Which set him back.
Rodney,
that explains it.
Rodney.
And every time he said it, he didn't say like anything besides McGruder. Yeah, and the whole Warriors locker room was just standing. Nobody tried to stop him because I mean, like, what he just was McGruder, and that's.
What are you gonna do?
The Pistons had to fail Bobo's physical because if you have a guy with that kind of heart around, you cannot let him go.
Yeah, so that's the kind of guy Rodney McGruder is. And
Rodney said, "Don't let me come back. I'm hanging 50 on all y'all's motherfucking heads."
And good for him. And for that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and select Rodney McGruder.
Like that. You know, Zar, I'm just going to build on that. And, you know, I was going to select Rodney, as I'm sure our listeners and viewers could tell. Primarily, though, because his nickname is the Scavenger. And if you're out on the town with your boys, you meet a couple of nice ladies, it doesn't always happen where it's, you know, 1-to-1. Oh, I like her, she likes me, she likes me. Sometimes, you know, one of your boys has to fall on that grenade. And, I can only imagine that a man named the Scavenger is called so for a reason. So I feel like Rodney would be good with that. He's the glue guy. He's the ultimate glue guy. It's why he's still on the team. He's a great locker room presence. Man, that's hard. You really took my guy, but that's okay. I'm going to go with another vet who I think has been on this team for as long as he has because people like him. He's probably a good hang, not too intimidating. I'm going with Corey Joseph. I want that veteran leadership in my group, especially when I got a young guard like Jaden Ivey alongside me. I think somebody like Corey Joseph, a little bit older, seems like a funny guy. He's always laughing on the court. He's about my height, so I won't feel too short, and I think that that's very important as well because I have low self-esteem. And yeah, I just think that Corey Joseph is a great guy. If we're talking glue guys like Rodney McGruder, Corey Joseph, he's the opposite of that. Where Rodney McGruder will kill you with violence, Corey Joseph will kill you with kindness. And I think that I could use that, especially since Jaden's a little bit more of a quiet guy. I feel like Corey's got a little bit more going on there. So, maybe Jaden's sitting off to the side a little bit, kind of learning from us, and we're chopping it up like real players do. So.
You forgot to mention a key component of Corey Joseph's appeal, and I'm now regretting a pick that I made because of this, is that Corey Joseph is friends with Drake. And,
yeah.
And you just earned yourself access into the OVO, what's that, the gym that he has? I forgot what it's called. Like, you can be on OVO campus now that you have Corey Joseph in your pack.
Yep. That's right. That's a good point. I didn't even think of it, but that's even more true. So
kind of looks like a steal now.
Hey, don't. That's.
See,
what can I say?
I couldn't select Corey Joseph because
I couldn't.
Yeah,
I'm definitely not this early.
The thing is, I can only select players that I know I wouldn't have to make like a sincere apology to on the first meeting. Corey Joseph, we would have to have a nice conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jasper, I believe you're on the board again.
Oh yeah, it's me one more time. Well, things get a little tough here, but I'm gonna have to go with my Syracuse guy. I gotta go, Buddy Boeheim. I know he's on that two-way contract, still counts. I mean, you got the Q's connection. I have to go with him. We're gonna have things to talk about right off the bat. I mean, somebody like Jaden Ivey, somebody like Corey Joseph. I don't really know. I don't know these guys, but Buddy, he's a little bit younger, but he went to Syracuse. He knows the area. He knows Detroit. He knows the organization because his dad is friends with Troy Weaver, and he could get me into Chucks no problem if I go back to Syracuse. That reference means literally nothing to anybody that's hearing this that didn't go to Syracuse. But let me tell you, if you did go to Syracuse, you just popped at that reference. So you're welcome. I got to go Buddy Boeheim. Seems like a nice kid, but I think he can throw down. He can party. He went to Syracuse. So, yeah. Oh, and also, his mom's a MILF. So, even better. She's picking us up after the game with juice boxes and OJ slices. Like, baby, I'm in there like swimwear.
In there like swimwear.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to ask permission for this pick. With my third overall selection, I'm gonna throw out a wild name here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Hooper.
Ooh, I might have to.
I don't think that's. No, you can't.
No.
He's technically he's better.
No.
It is his birthday, but we are not allowing this selection.
I would have taken that. Zara, I was saying this before you got on here. I would have taken the Dancing Usher with my number one pick.
The Dancing Usher was on my list, actually.
See? That's a smart man right there.
He's not dead, though. A lot of people think he's dead. He's not dead. Okay, with my third overall selection, I'm gonna go ahead and take Bojan Bogdanovic, and you're gonna think, Bojan. Okay, this is kind of a weird vibe you've got going on. You got Cade, who's like 21, and you got Rodney McGruder, and now you got Bojan Bogdanovic. Well, here's the thing. Bojan Bogdanovic seems like the type of guy who has like a lot of stories. You know what I mean? Like he seems like a guy who's seen things in his life. I don't remember where he's from. Somewhere in Europe. I'm going to avoid taking a guess, and
I'll get the correct answer here.
I do know where he's from, but I kind of want you. No,
I want to say like Czechoslovakia or something.
No, he's from Bosnia.
Wikipedia is saying Croatia.
Oh, there you go.
He was born in Bosnia.
Oh, but he plays for Croatia. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
If nothing else, I just kind of want to hear him pronounce things, to be honest with you. I want to hear how he says certain words because he seems to have a funny voice and in all the interviews I've seen. And I'm not going to imitate it in the hopes of not offending the maybe one European listener we have. So I'm going to go ahead.
I'm Croatian. Zar, I'm part Croatian.
Oh.
I give you permission.
Oh, I get the pass. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a Croat pass.
Hell yeah. Uh, I just want to hear him say something like cheese curds. You know, like I want to with Boyan and hear him say Butterburger.
Zara and Boyan at the Culver's drive-through.
Like I want to hear him say concrete mixer. Like I want to hear how he approaches these types of things.
I turn the milkshake.
goes-
It does not come out. What is this sorcery?
He goes, yes, you have a concrete mixer? Yes, no.
Oh wow. Okay, you know what? Your croat pass.
Thank
has been
you.
revoked. That was bad.
Let's see how far I could take that. I'd like to issue an apology first and foremost to the Croatian community and to Bojan Bogdanovic, who I just selected with my third pick. Maybe he would have slapped me at some point, because maybe I would have, maybe I would have gotten too comfortable with him and slipped up and did that accent. And I would have gotten pushed out of a moving car. So I'm still going to keep my pick, though. I'm going to keep Bojan Bogdanovic and go to have a little Culver's trip with him.
That took me on a ride. Not gonna lie, my vision of Bojan is a really bad TV one episode villain. Like a Blacklist villain who just stone cold killer, but has just a terrible addiction to Culver's, and that's where they find him and capture him.
You know how NBA players used to smoke and drink on the sidelines in the middle of games? I feel like if Bojan played back then, he'd be even better.
Yeah.
I think if you got a glass of whiskey in his hand and a pack of cigarettes in his pocket, I think he'd drop 30 points a game, no problem.
Yeah.
Let this man light up at halftime.
With my third selection, I select Alec Burks. I was unaware of how this draft would go. He was very high on my board. I'm happy I have him. He doesn't stop talking when he's on the court. And considering I drafted Troy Weaver, we kind of need someone to fill the air. There isn't a player in the NBA that it seems Alec Burks is not friends with. He is always talking, and I like to talk. I want to hear his stories. He's been around the league for a few years. He played on the worst Jazz teams. I got to hear it. He's been around.
I'm surprised that this guy's still here a little bit, although I have heard some interesting answers from you guys. But I feel like I got to go with a little Twin Towers here and take Jalen Duren. The 19-year-old, somehow younger than me. Feels weird having an NBA player that's younger than me.
3 times your body mass.
Yeah,
I know.
Hey, Dylan,
right, yeah,
Dylan,
right.
just wait.
I know. I know. I can't believe it. Dude's swatting shots from 8 feet away, and I'm sitting here talking about him. But yeah, I think him and Isaiah Stewart. I feel like just a couple of young guys, chilling with them. Definitely won't have to worry about anyone messing with us. They are both 7 feet tall almost. And then Tom Gore's he's obviously going to have to provide the alcohol because I'm still 20 and Duren's 19. Not much we can do. So I feel like having Tom to provide and then having Jalen and Isaiah, I feel like that's a pretty good trio to hang out with.
I wouldn't worry about there being alcohol available if you're hanging with Tom Forrest.
Exactly.
Unless he drinks it all first.
Exactly.
That's the only possible downside is that he'll
Drinks.
have none for
Will
you.
there be other stuff besides drinks? That's the real question.
Looks to me like you want to hang out with billionaire Tom Goris, and you've drafted 2 bodyguards. So,
But they're fun bodyguards.
all right, yeah. I see what your deal is. You're just trying to get some of this prison money.
I had actually met Jalen Duren a couple of weeks ago, and the fact that he was 18 at the time, so it might have been more. It was almost a month ago then. He was 18 at the time, and to your point, Dylan, he's a big man. He's definitely a large human being. He's possibly the largest I ever met. I remember I shook his hand, and I'm still recovering from this. I shook his hand, and I have pretty large hands. His hand just swallowed mine, right? And then I was like, I'm Zariq, nice to meet you. And he goes, yeah, I know. And I was like, oh.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then he kept holding my hand. I was like, what's going on here? And I just started to feel a really tight pressure on my hand. And I was like, okay, you can let go now. To which point he started lifting me up. Have you ever seen The Avengers? The first one?
Yeah.
What's the Avengers?
Yeah,
A
okay.
classic.
So I'm sure we're all familiar with the scene where the Hulk takes Loki and just like yeah.
Mhm.
I experienced that, and then while I was on the ground recovering, he said something along the lines of like, "You thought I was going to be in the G League? You thought I was going to be in the G League?" And then he like kicked me in the nuts. And yeah, so I think that's a great pick for your security reasons, Dylan. I had to add in that little.
As far as I can see, there's 6 people available, including Dwayne Casey.
I already got my old guy. I
Oh, come on. The clock's ticking down. You're looking like the Minnesota Vikings. The time's gonna run out.
I'm taking a shot in the dark. All right, because I talked with Tim about this, and we were like, no one's gonna draft him, but I'm taking Sadiq Bey
Damn it!
because
Oh!
I know Zar was gonna take it. I knew Zar wanted him. I told Tim, I was like, Zar would take him.
I was
Y'all
not
out
taking
here-
him.
Sadiq Bey.
You
The
guys just want to
biggest-
spear the hose?
Okay, the biggest wild card, dude. You get him with Tom Gores. You get him in a party setting. We have no idea what he's capable of. Never even seen him crack a smile. One of my friends served him at a restaurant, and he said that he was like one of the most stoic people he's ever talked to. Like it was. So I'm really curious. I like the young theme, and then having our older guy Gores to provide the fun.
That is pure chaos, man. Like, dude, you are hooking up Tom Gores and Sadiq Bey. Tom Gores is going to make Sadiq go full Joker mode. He's going to be the freaking Joker, baby. Like,
Yeah,
you are
he
really
needs to do
playing with fire.
something.
Dude, Tom Gores and Sadiq Bey, you can't go around women. That's for sure. Like, this is the ultimate scaring the hose hangout sesh right here. Like, Tom's going to come up to him just wasted. Sadiq's going to come in asking how he got those scars. Like, dude, what are you doing here, Dylan? This is at least you got the protection with you. Because when their boyfriends come over and, like, ask, like, what the hell is going on here, you're going to need all that beef up front.
With my last pick of the first 4 rounds, I am going to take Isaiah Livers.
Fuck.
Good choice.
Him and I are the same age. We graduated high school together. He was Mr. Basketball my senior year. He played at Michigan. Got some friends who went to Michigan. CJ, Jake Moody, what's up? So I'm sure he knows CJ pretty well. Might know Jake. He's a Michigan man through and through, and we'd have lots to talk about. Maybe we can reminisce on like growing up watching Drew Dillio catch passes for the Wolverines, or Stu Douglas's hot start to the 2012 season. I mean, we can keep going, and he's a Michigan man through and through, and you got to have a guy like that around. You know, him and Troy are close. Troy promised him at the draft, got him. He's just always smiling, laughing, joking around. That's good for Burks. And who knows? Maybe he can rap with Bagley. So.
Well, I'm a little caught off guard here because I was going to take Sadiq and then he's gone. Isaiah Livers also gone.
Just don't take my guy.
I think the player I'm going to go ahead and select is Nerlens Noel.
Oh my God.
And you might be thinking, well, why is that? And you're going to expect me to have some crazy story, but I don't. He just is a name that I thought of, and I'm out of names in my head. I had Braxton Key written down. I'm sure he's a nice man. I'm sure he's a nice young man. I haven't met him. I'm sure I will with the Cruise. But he looks too much like Andre Drummond, and I would find that a little bit triggering. So for that reason alone, I am selecting Nerlens Noel with my 4th pick, and mostly just because I traded for him on like every 2K my league team I've had. So there you go.
All right.
I love it. You saw me celebrating because I was afraid you were going to take this guy. Let me finish my New York brunch. I have to go with, I think, the obvious pick. And considering I just ingested some nicotine, it should be obvious who I'm going with here. It's Killian Hayes. I can't believe you guys let me get Killian Hayes here. This is... I reached for Buddy. I'll fully admit it. Killian is the guy I want. I like to eat. I like to drink. I'm a certified sommelier. Killian's French. And you know this man drinks good wine. You know this man eats good food. He's incredibly good looking as well. So if we're going out, he's going to be able to, attract the female companionship over to wherever we are. We're going to be balling out on delicious food, really expensive wine, which he's going to take the tab for. Yeah, I just think this is like the perfect guy. He's coming into his own finally as a player. I think this is the perfect time to take advantage of that newfound confidence. And what I can only assume is a refined palate. I have to go with Killian Hayes here. I think he is the clear-cut choice, and I frankly cannot believe I got him with the last overall pick. I think this is a total steal. Mr. Irrelevant, no longer. This is the guy. You know what I mean? It's all good to hang out. It's good to go out. But sometimes you just want a nice meal, and I bet I could do that with Killian. So I'm going Killian Hayes, 100%.
The first 4 rounds of the draft have concluded. I am announcing a 5th surprise round. We're going to go in the same order. Jasper, Zar, me, Dylan. Any former player or Pistons adjacent person, this person has to have either played for the Pistons or has directly worked for the Pistons, is available to be selected with your last pick. And then after this round, I will read each person's team, and we will decide who has the best team. Jasper, you are on the clock for your write-in selection.
I wish that I'd had a little bit more time. I know if I feel like if I take him, there's going to be somebody better. I feel like if I pass on him, though, I'm going to be disappointed because he was the guy I really first thought of when we had this. So, oh, man. I think I have to go with the Dancing Usher. I have to go with the Dancing Usher. And when you first brought this up, he was the first guy I thought of. And you got to go with the first guy that comes to your mind. He's got the moves. He's clearly very cool. Everybody loves him. You know what I mean? I feel like he's one of those guys. He's a little bit older, but he doesn't take life too seriously. And I feel like he's got to be a great hang. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Dancing Usher. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. I know he's no longer... I believe he's no longer performing at the games. Is that correct? They kind of phased him out? So. That's a damn shame.
I know.
There's a lot of great answers we could come up with here. I mean, Dick Vitale... that he might fit in on Dylan's team. I don't know if we're trying to get.
No, I hate him.
Yeah, they're gonna scare away everybody else.
It's not awesome, baby.
A cancer.
Hey.
You hate a cancer patient, Dylan?
No, okay. He just annoys me, dude.
Why? Because he
It's
has
not
cancer.
awesome. It's not awesome, baby.
My mom has cancer, Dylan, and I'm tisk 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 tisk.
Well, if you find out why I don't like your mom.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! This is
Bro,
devolving. Oh man, the personal attacks come out.
Holy
This is a
shit.
very, very insensitive podcast. I don't
Yeah.
approve of this.
Well, that's why it's
yeah.
after dark.
I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah, this is not Pistons After Dark. This is just Pistons getting dark, getting too dark. Yeah, I gotta go Dancing Usher. I'm sure there's some other fantastic guys you could choose there. I'm sure Allen Iverson would be a fun one to hang out with as well. That's a guy I'm going to tell some stories about at some point on this podcast, but I'm going Dancing Usher, final answer.
Okay. All right. Well, with my 5th overall selection, I'm gonna go ahead and take Rob Murphy.
Hell no!
All right. So with my last selection, I'm gonna go, and I've been between two people, both equally divisive, and I'm really stuck right now because I'm trying to figure out what my group needs, what we're missing. And I'll tell you who I'm stuck between. I'm stuck between Hooper and we'll find out because I'm gonna go ahead and select Dennis Rodman with my 5th overall. And mostly because this isn't a vibe session. We're not having fun. We are going directly to North Korea. And this is my one way to find out if what they have been teaching us in schools is true or not about North Korea. And I plan to make the most of this. Whatever happens along this ride, I don't know. Will I keep my sanity? I'm not sure. I feel like Dennis Rodman is too good to pass up on. He has experienced more than most people do in their entire life. And I really want to see North Korea, so I'm gonna go ahead and take Dennis Rodman.
So quickly, I know we have to wrap this thing up, but I have a Dennis Rodman story. So
Oh.
I was once in a fantasy baseball league with Dennis Rodman, back my senior year.
This
of
is not a bit.
college.
This is not a bit for those.
No. If I tell a story on here, it's gonna be true. Just FYI, I don't
me
make
too.
up stories. I don't need to. Well, exactly. No, I actually was. There was this whole bit. Basically, I didn't know he was going to be in the fantasy baseball league. Older WWE fans will recognize the higher power bit, which Vince McMahon was unveiled as. I did not know Dennis Rodman was going to be the guy there until he was literally unveiled at the draft as the higher power, being Dennis Rodman.
Oh wow!
So Dennis is a very, very quiet guy. He does not talk a lot. According to his representation, he does not drink or smoke weed, too. Trust me, I tried to smoke a blunt with him. But at one point, we just asked him, we said, like, hey, so Dennis, what was dating Carmen Electra like? And he just takes a second, he thinks, he just goes, freak. That was it. That was the whole interaction. Dennis Rodman calling Carmen Electra a freak. So there's not nothing else to that story. He did say some other wild things in that. He also said Kim Jong-un is a very nice guy. So
I believe it.
wondering, Zar. Yeah, he's a very nice guy. Yeah,
He seems
cool
like
dude.
it.
Oh, I'm sure. We all have our foibles.
Yeah, seems like a cool guy. If I could draft Kim Jong Un, I would.
All right.
Better than
Okay.
the first guy you selected.
Right?
There was a few names I had written down, and I am not choosing from any of these names. The first one I thought of, as Jasper mentioned, was Allen Iverson. He would be awesome. Bruce Brown is around my age and seemed like an awesome hang. Brandon Jennings seemed like an awesome hang.
Oh yeah.
Rasheed Wallace seems like an awesome hang. My pick for my fifth and final selection is John Mason.
Okay.
I need someone in my life who's just gonna like announce the things that I do out loud. So if I'm hanging out, Tim, to the trash can. I need if I make eggs well, I need him to say fork it. I'll ask him about the science behind the stuff that he does, his best calls. I'll make him say Cunningham over and over again. We try to perfect it so I can do it too.
Yeah, it'd be great if he did like the unfortunate news in your life too. Like he's like divorce. Like
Tim got dumped. Stage 4 cancer coming to the floor.
the prostate.
Tim fucking. Your mom doesn't love you anymore. Well, I don't know what just happened there. I think I just turned into like Mr. Allen. 25 or 250.
All right. So, Tim, you actually did name the guy that I was going to go with. I was kind of hoping it'd be a little more of a surprise, but I can't pass up on Sheed. I have my alcohol and probably cocaine, among other stuff. A guy in Tom Gores.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Just in case.
And then I have my weed guy in Rasheed Wallace. So we can just kind of combine them pre-game. I am someone who appreciates a good crossfade. So I think that he's also in between Gores and the other guys I selected. So kind of like a middle-aged guy. Bring a little more diversity to the group. Can't go wrong with Sheed.
You get a rapper too. You get a rapper as well. Sheed a notorious. Oh yeah, Rasheed was notorious during that 2004 Pistons run. He'd always be listening to rap music, rapping.
Real story.
Yeah.
Rasheed Wallace palmed my forehead one time.
See, I got my rapper and didn't even have to take Marvin Bagley.
There you go.
There you go.
That's how it's done.
See, Zar, the thing is, of all the stories you've told, Rasheed Wallace just palming your head like a basketball, I could believe that, actually.
Yeah.
I could believe him doing
It
that.
really did happen. I was like 6 years old. It was after a playoff game. I was just like trying to get his autograph, and then like a bunch of like news like people like with like microphones and cameras and shit just started walking up to him as he was walking to his car, and he just like palmed my head and kept walking with me. And that yeah, I was, and then he just like gave me like a little high five, and I went back to my mom. That was
Okay.
yeah, that's a real story. That did happen, not a bit.
No one took Ben Wallace. That's a guy who you could put on the aux. I mean, just don't put him behind the steering wheel. But the aux could work.
Oh my God. I'm going to read everybody's teams. Jasper came out of the draft with Jaden Ivey, Corey Joseph, Buddy Boeheim, Killian Hayes, and the Dancing Usher. Jasper, do you have any quick final thought about why you made your selections?
Real guard heavy. I'm realizing that I picked a lot of guys that wouldn't make me feel so short. I wonder what that's about. That seems like an insecurity thing on my part. So I don't know. But yeah, I think we'd have a fun time. It's a diverse group. I think we got a little something for everyone in there. So I think we'd get along. I like it. I'm going to be honest. I think considering I had the number 1 overall pick, I could have done better.
Czar came out of the draft with Cade, Rodney Magruder, Bojan, Nerlens Noel, and Dennis Rodman. Any indication on why you made your picks?
The only one I regret is Nerlens Noel. I immediately regretted it. I wish I had taken Killian Hayes. But outside of that, I think it's going to be a fun little group trip to North Korea, where we'll hang out with Kim Jong-un. This is the type of group that I feel like he would enjoy. I feel like Rodney Magruder and Kim Jong-un might be pals. So I'm pretty happy with my selections.
I came out of the draft with Troy Weaver, Marvin Bagley, Alec Burks, Isaiah Livers, and John Mason. I think it's a very self-sufficient group for myself. I get something out of each of these people, you know. Troy, I just want to, like, A, know what the Pistons' future holds. B, actually see what he's like outside of the rambling press conferences. Marvin Bagley, I get rap music out of. Alec Burks and Isaiah Livers, I get laughs and Michigan conversations out of. And then John Mason, he's just around it. Insurance fraud, you know, so he's just there. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm very self-sufficient. I realized I was very selfish in my picks, but overall I'm happy with it. Dylan came out of the draft with Isaiah Stewart, Tom Gorse, Jalen Duren, Sadiq Bey, and Rasheed Wallace. And I will make the case that Dylan had the best draft.
You know, I will agree with you. I do like all the reasonings for your guys' drafts, but I definitely went for like a hangover style group. Like we're getting messed up, take some pictures, wake up, not remember the morning. It would be a good time. Like I think Sheed was really just the cherry on top. I'm really glad I got to add him. I would say Sadiq was definitely like the wild card pick that I'm still like kind of thinking about. Because I did almost take Killian in that last round as well. I know we were all thinking about him. But that's a good group. I think we're going to have some fun.
Let me remind you guys of the 3 current Pistons people who went undrafted. Apologies to Kevin Knox, Hamidou Diallo, and Dwayne Casey.
Hami was on the board for me. I feel like he'd be a cool guy to hang out with. Well, are you really that like hurt about not drafting Kevin Knox, are?
This is my brand, man. This is like wow. I forgot he was on the team. Not gonna lie to you.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of the thing with Kevin Knox though. Like he's such a quiet guy. Like every time I'm watching the game, him and Nerlens Noel. When I was at the Boston game, sitting like 5th row, not bragging. He and Nerlens Noel were just wandering around during timeouts, just like. They seem like they are just completely like super quiet dudes, totally disengaged. Nerlens, I am worried about Nerlens. I'm actually shocked. I'm glad you selected him, Czar, because that dude seems depressed every time I see him on the Pistons.
Which is why he'll make a great trip to North Korea.
That's right. You should take him, Nerlens, and Kevin Knox along with Dennis Rodman. Show him a good time. Show him how much worse life could be in a different situation. I think you'll cheer him up in no time.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Knox could wear his Fortnite suit to go meet Kim Jong-un. I think that'd be pretty fun.
And that is Palace of Pistons After Dark, the Hangout draft. Thank you to Jasper, Czar, and Dylan for joining me today.